Chewing gum's the biggest problem, really. Cleaning the streets and of the grime is relatively straightforward and quite quick. Removing the chewing gum and the associated staining takes a lot of time. If the chewing gum wasn't here, the job would be done in half the time, roughly.
With a footfall of something like 1 million people into our 8.5 square miles on a daily basis, 33% of them chewing gum, many of them just spitting it out. For us to keep ahead of that's really a big ask.
Central London may be home to some of the world's best-known landmarks and department stores, but it's also filthy with chewing gum. On Oxford Street, there's around 300,000 globs at any one time. And unlike most other litter, it's not easily swept up, because once someone's trodden it in, gum sticks like glue. I've gone down to Trafalgar Square to see Westminster street cleaning team in action.
I'm Andy, is our Director of Community Clean. We've been asked to carry out a deep clean of the pavement area by Veolia and Westminster Council.
And tell us about the equipment you're using.
We use two-man teams, a self-contained jet wash unit, which has got its own water supply and everything else. And we're here, the two guys are on site for 10 hours a day, removing chewing gum and cleaning the grime up. We've got one of the operatives here removing the chewing gum using a low pressure, high temperature water. As you can see, it's quite time consuming. He's removing each blob of gums, taking 2 or 3 seconds per blob. But if you multiply that up over the amount of gum in Westminster, you can see why it takes so long. And as you can see, there's these inherent oil stainings that we mentioned earlier on. So they'll come back and remove those oil stainings to give us a really good deep clean.
And so we've got like a long hose here with very, very high, well, you said it's low pressure, but it looks quite high pressure to me.
Well, it's all relative. In this circumstances, this is running at about 900 psi, which when you're talking about water pressure is actually quite a low pressure. Temperature-wise, it's running at 120 degrees C.
All the methods for cleaning gum are high energy and not surprisingly pretty expensive. With gum staining 2/3 of all our town and city centres, it costs UK councils an average of £13,000 a year to clean up. Councillor Lindsay Hall is Deputy Cabinet Member for Environment and Transport at Westminster.
Well, if you consider that we have 8.5 square miles and that it would cost us £9 million for a comprehensive clean-up, that might give you some idea of quite how serious it is. And I don't know about you, and I guess it's something that I never really thought about until I took this job, but if you walk around the streets and just cast your eyes around you, it is absolutely shocking when you see the imprint of hundreds and hundreds of blobs of gum absolutely staining and imprinted on our pavements.
Well, it's a sticky situation, but there might be a solution. For the first time ever, a biodegradable gum called chicza has gone on sale in the UK this week, and it's come all the way from Mexico.
Chicza es una goma de mascar biodegradable. It's a natural biodegradable gum. It's made from only natural ingredients. It won't stick to the pavement. It has no petrochemical polymers, and it's also a big support for the chicleros and their economy and for the well-being of the rainforest.
That's Manuel Altreta, Managing Director of Chicza, with Marketing Coordinator Pablo Meslero translating. The company employs 2,000 chicleros who climb 100-foot tall trees and tap out the chicle, which forms the basis for the gum. With almost 400,000 hectares of rainforest felled every year in Mexico, the chicle industry is an important sustainable business.
En las comunidades locales, el sureste de México es una... Southeastern Mexico and the peninsula, it's a very thin layer of limestone, so the soil is easily eroded when you take the rainforest, when you cut it down. What the activities that come after that are really not productive. So in the chiclero economy, the rainforest is what is really supporting their economy. So they are related in a very harmonic way, and that's why it's so important for them to keep the rainforest. That's keeping their economies alive.
Now you might be wondering what this chicza gum actually looks and tastes like. I asked a willing passerby to describe it for us.
Okay, it's not as white as spearmint chewing gum. It's a bit beigey, looking a bit like dry tofu, but it looks very organic. You can probably hear me chewing. Yeah, it's quite solid. Yeah, it's going to make your jaws work quite hard. And it's not as piercingly sweet, sickly sweet, which I don't like of chewing gum. And I'm now getting into it, and it's the sweetness is coming out. That's hopefully natural sugars are coming out. And
is it quite soft and elasticy, if that's a word?
No, it's not elasticity. You won't be playing bubbles with this one, I'm afraid, kids.
And what about the flavour?
Yeah, lime is coming through. A bit of honey. I don't know if honey is in the ingredient. Can I say licorice? Something like licorice, syrupy, a bit of lime. It's like a tropical salad. It's very, very nice, very natural. It's much more me.
Chicza is very different to the kind of chewing gum that we normally get, the synthetic gum. It looks and feels very different. So do you think that it will catch on here?
Yes, I am. Well, I think you are a very experimental people who are open to new things, and that's an advantage. Then it would be like going to the real thing, and I can't think of anyone who has been drinking like instant coffee all of his or her life and suddenly discovers real coffee. It will be different, of course, and the first time and second time you will be exploring a new thing, but I think in the long term, when you get back to what's the original thing, the real thing, you stick to that. It's a niche market. We are not trying. It's very important to say that we're not trying to compete with the big makers. It's impossible. It's a niche market like for any other green or original version market, and that's where we're aiming.
Chicza may well be a niche market. On sale at £1.39 for 12 squares in Waitrose, it's not really going to solve all the blobs on Oxford Street. But even a niche market means more consumer choice, and that could lead to commercial pressure on some other gum companies, as Councillor Lindsay Hall explains.
We ourselves at Westminster Council have been working with some young scientists at Bristol University who formed a company called Revolumer, who've been devising their own biodegradable gum and working hand in hand with Cadbury on this. So I think with the advent of Chicza, and hopefully the gum from Revolumer, when they come up with that, there'll be a healthy competitive market. We might actually see, the end of old-fashioned gum that sticks to the floor.
This is Louise Parry with a special report for Make Wealth History.